Yeah, good morning. As I reach my beloved rocks, uh, I'm wondering where is this noise coming from? And I see all these boats out there, and I think these guys are just pulling in the net and playing loud music. Alright, I'll let them finish their job and then come back. Yeah, today was a very, very short night, but it was beautiful to see that even though my real sleep kind of ended at 2:30, um, there was an absolute calmness and also a, actually a sense of gratitude because there was no nausea. So, and I just realized one more time, like, if one is trying to rest, even if there's no sleep, but at least the body is in no major discomfort. Yeah, it's not in arousal of any kind. Um, wow, that is so beautiful. That is so helpful. Yeah, so I was just kind of, I guess, dozing off in between a little bit, but mainly that was it. And yeah, I thought I speak to two things, the two messages that I got. One was the offer after having watched one of my videos by a friend of mine whether I wanted to talk, and the other one was a message um, to tell me that the person finds it a bit difficult actually to communicate with me because he doesn't quite know what to even say to me because he finds it weird to talk about like everyday stuff. So I'm gonna turn the camera around now and show you a bit of the beautiful nature and talk a bit. Yeah, the question of whether I want to speak about this, well actually it's a bit of a paradox because on the one hand, I don't want to say one more word about it. The story has been told too many times, and there's a sense, you know what? I don't want to tell it one more time, not even one word about it. But at the same time, what I'm doing here is kind of, it feels like I'm doing this one more time. And if I do it, then, yeah, let's do justice, you know, to it. So whether I want to talk to people about the story, not really. I guess for people who don't know me, to make sense of it, a little bit of the story is needed. Yeah, because otherwise it's very difficult to put it in context. What does it all mean? But I'm acutely aware of the fact that in the story, there's no healing actually. I mean, I've heard from many people that they just need to tell their story and then it's almost like a big release, and yeah, the weight is off the pressure cooker kind of, and they feel relieved. But in my case, from what I've seen, is I can tell it over and over again, but there is no release. So on that level, whether somebody validates my story or not, yeah, I mean, in some way, ego loves it, no? but the healing doesn't happen there. I would say the healing happens beyond that, beyond the story. Um, Much more likely, in fact, even questioning the story, and yeah, and going into the emotions that are underneath, dropping into the body and really feeling, okay, well, what is this actually? What does it actually do with me? And I guess oftentimes, from my experience at least, it also goes back. It's not just this experience. Oftentimes, it just goes back to childhood and all the rest of it. So, if there can be an experience that creates compassion, for example, in that case, for a part of oneself, which earlier was just, well, try to yeah, try to push away or even hate it or be ashamed of it or these kind of things, then I guess, at least as per my experience, then there's a true change possible. And even if this experience might only be for a very short time or sometimes even just a second, well, it's the lived experience that it is possible. And yeah, if it's possible once, it's possible again. No? It might also be the experience of suddenly seeing somebody else in through a totally different lens and having tremendous compassion suddenly for that person. That can also be really, really life-changing, I think, in many places. No? So this is one element. Yeah, the other thing to what then even talk about, or if somebody says to me, I don't really know what to talk to you about, well, I would say in the end, it doesn't really matter so much what the content of the conversation is. I think for me, what it boils down to really is that what the person says actually that what needs to be said in that moment? Or is there something underneath that actually wants to be said? And if that's the case, well, then it feels kind of dishonest because there's something underneath that is struggling to be expressed, that wants to be felt. And I think I've just become quite sensitive to these kind of things. And I guess the closer a person is, the more this will also manifest. And dealing with a person like me who has felt death very near, um, there's this sense of urgency and this sense of, you know what, let's not beat around the bush, let's be real here. Are we happy with the way we are dealing with one another? Are we happy with the way of, the level of honesty, especially when it comes to emotion? Are we happy with that? Do we want to leave it like this? Are we ready to go like this? Because, I mean, any one of us could go at any time, right? So, for me, I think it's more that. Because if we can only talk about really, really deep, meaningful things and there can be no lightness, well, that's also really weird. No? But the question is there actually any lightness? And until there is, I think it makes sense to address the things that are actually in the foreground. Yeah, those are the things that came up for me today. And I thought I'd share one more thing. I mentioned the session that I did yesterday, the compassionate inquiry session and parts work. So I won't share anything of the first part where I took the role of facilitator. I share about only about the part where I did my inquiry, and I wanted to inquire into this phenomenon that I'm experiencing again and again, that my body starts going into nausea and these kind of things, and that I use massive physical activity to pull myself out of it, which feels like an act of violence actually. And my question to myself was, what is this actually? Where is this coming from? I just wanted to feel into it and just see what's there. And the beautiful thing was, it was shocking to go there, because to go into weakness, to really feel it and to see the body collapsing, to see all the emotions rushing in, to see that all the experiences of the last 9 years that have a similar energetic signature suddenly raise their head, and seem to be crashing into the present moment like a tsunami wave kind of. And then there's this voice, this very familiar voice that just goes, okay, let's go, all right, get up, next step, put yourself blinders on, all right, it's just the next step, it's just the next step, it's just one more step, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And this voice is not at all violent. It is the voice that has saved my life, and there was such a deep sense of gratitude. So yeah, this is just one quick example of something which might seem one way can actually be something completely different. And to feel that within oneself, that deep love and compassion and thankfulness towards a part of oneself that is absolutely beautiful. And I'll leave you with this.